Anyway, this upload is about earthquake liquefaction and also sand blows or sand dikes, sand boils. They're known by hundreds of names. They're very common. They occur to this day. Any earthquake, they blow up into the cotton fields and wherever, and you can view hundreds of them. They've been taking place since, the beginning of time. But anyway, this one sand blow, I'll call it a sand blow or sand dike, is 6 feet across. Okay, and it's exposed in cross section, which is rare. Now, the one woman, which also the other disclaimer is I don't quote anybody. This is just my own little upload. I'm not quoting geologists or stuff like that, and the videos are public, so it's not like all of this is supposed to be top secret where nobody can say anything, including what I'm going to show of the huge sand blow tube. It's known that it's there. Also, the other disclaimer is the earthquakes. It's Las Vegas, which sits on thousands of feet of alluvial gravel. Not a good place to be at an earthquake. There's the Frenchman Fault. This view is looking north. That's why it shows Sunrise Mountain, but you don't see Frenchman Mountain. But in other words, this cross section is like it was took down the middle of the highway. Okay, so anyway, during the extension of the last 15 million years, you have these blocks that are sliding over and sliding against each other, and it's well known it's an earthquake area. That's not questioned. So now let me see if I can do this. If I can pull this off, it will be unbelievable.
Pressure builds up until a vent or fissure is forced open. This brings the watery sand mixture blasting to the surface.
These things can be 15, 20 feet deep.
Scientists are investigating the past in the hope of giving people some warning before.
Okay, now the reason I'm showing this, I'm not quoting her. I have emailed with her. I don't know if I should say her name or not say her name. But she did these cross sections. This was the Madrid earthquake in the 1800s where people were thrown 12 feet up into the air during the earthquake. And yet these sand blows that she cross sections by digging a ditch, they're inches across, not 6 feet. Okay, so let me let it play a little bit longer.
Scattered across the New Madrid zone, there are scars of past seismic eruptions. Sand blows that formed during the 1811-1812 quakes still dot the landscape and make it difficult to grow a solid field of cotton.
The sand blows are very common, especially in the heart of the New Madrid seismic zone, close to the New Madrid faults.
Paleoseismologist Morticia Tuttle digs into sand blows, searching for clues as to the frequency of the past quake.
Now, when the sand blows come up, they are called also sand volcanoes, and the sand and water does spread out. It spreads out into a big area, and they can flow for years. If the water table is big enough, they can stay flowing for years, and so it spreads out. So when you hear about the sand blows, they can say, well, this one is 12 feet across, 20 feet across. But that's not the conduit. These conduits, the sheet cross sections, are at most a few inches across, not 6 feet. Anyway, that's the point. So now let's see if I can do this. I've got so many things open. Okay, so. Okay, the huge sand blow that I'm talking about it's over here somewhere. It's over here somewhere. If you know where it is, fine. And here's Frenchman Mountain. Here's Frenchman Mountain. Now, Frenchman Mountain, right in here, has a huge liquefaction area right alongside the road, right here where they park and ride the horses. Huge liquefaction area. It's astonishing. It's a cross section because the erosion has exposed a cross section of it. Okay, so Frenchman did a walk from over near Gold Butte of 50 miles. Okay, so I'll say bulldozed its way. Actually, it didn't. Everything was being stretched and tilted up and all over the place, and it ended up here. So when this huge, oh brother, this is becoming ridiculous. When this huge sand blow occurred, that means, and I put it around 8 million years ago. That would mean the Frenchman block sitting right here next to Vegas would have actually been over here, more adjacent to the area of the sand blow. So, okay, let's get to the sand blow. This is just another one real quick to show what a nightmare we're sitting between and on. And notice this fault says active. A disclaimer, that means it could be 10,000 years from now. It could be 1,000,000 years from now after the human race is extinct. Don't start thinking that Las Vegas is going to be leveled in the morning. This is not an impending earthquake. But they do talk about it. They do talk about it. That could be thousands of years. We're all going to likely be dead here in, what, 5 days from Putin? But there's Frenchman Mountain. And I do want to point out real quick that here's Charleston Peak and Red Rock Canyon. And Charleston Peak is limestone overthrust. However, don't think it was overthrust up here at an angle. It wasn't. It slid downhill. It slid downhill. This has since been tilted. Nothing pushed up and over. It came downhill, the same concept as rock glaciers. Sort of that concept. So you have to turn this sideways and picture this being tilted the other way. The other way. Nothing got pushed up and over. Okay, there it is. There it is. Generally, I don't capture people's images like on hikes where they can, you're staring right at them, they can be identified unless they ask me to. But there it is. It's, 5-6 feet across. And they were astonished. They were astonished when they saw it. This material here is horse spring. Horse spring, relatively recent material. I put it maybe 8 million would be a good guess, and this material was still pliable, like clay. The layers were forming, but it was still pliable. It wasn't solid rock. This didn't blast up through solid rock as if a nuclear missile blasted up. No, it was pliable. And you can inspect this and you can see on the edges where the material, like right here, this material, you can see that it's pushed up and it's going in this direction. But, oh brother, that's going to be it for this one. But there it is. There it is. In this picture here, there's more degrees and PhDs than on a thermometer. I'm not going to say who they are, but they were astonished. There it is for context instead of just close-ups. Now this here, we all walked by it dozens of times and thought it was a mining feature. No. When this area got, this is sitting right on a fault, and so when this blasted through and started eroding, because that's what stuff does, it does it along faults. Then later, as this became eroded down from this level, then this did a secondary erosion. This is not mining, it's a secondary erosion that goes up a fault. And then it thus exposed, in a very rare case, this underground conduit that's exposed in cross-section. Very bizarre, unusual case.